guy should be higher only. You got to knock someone down
Totally,
if you want to criticize the list. We are going to rank the NFC West at the end of this, which is very difficult because the NFC West is a hellscape of a division.
Big season. I'm doing what TJ couldn't do yesterday. I'm going out on a limb. Mike McDonald, Coach of the Year, going to be the greatest season of all time. The respect is coming. Everyone is waking up to the Seahawks, 17-0. Guys they're bringing in, you know what that smells like? That smells like desperation, brother. That's a 2-point win for the Seahawks.
Okay, good one.
When someone doesn't give you an answer, that is your answer. In this league, reputation is a currency that general managers spend like water. But the moment the checks start clearing, the reality of production always catches up. The mainstream sports media wants you to believe that the annual NFC West division race is a foregone conclusion. They want you to think that the San Francisco 49ers, with their star-studded roster and offensive genius Kyle Shanahan, are destined to cruise to another division title. They want you to believe that the Los Angeles Rams' aggressive offseason moves are just a desperate gamble that will inevitably blow up, or that the Seattle Seahawks are in a transition phase under a rookie head coach and cannot possibly compete for the crown. But the truth behind these narratives is a calculated exercise in narrative protection, a front office consensus that is spiraling out of control, and a total disaster for anyone who actually watches the games. The release of the NFL schedule didn't just cause a debate, it exposed a massive rift between the executive suites and the realities of the gridiron. We have seen divisions rise and fall, but we have never seen a division so fundamentally set up as a total, unadulterated hellscape. The consensus is fracturing, and the rivalries are turning nuclear. And the moment the season kicks off, the narrative war is officially declared. The media has spent years painting the San Francisco 49ers as an untouchable god, a team that can do no wrong even when their key weapons are constantly landing on the injured reserve. They want to protect the image of the golden franchise, the face of the NFC, and they will bend the statistics in any direction necessary to ensure they remain at the top. But some figures in the league are finally starting to speak the truth, challenging the mainstream narrative and delivering a psychological shock to the NFL establishment. They are looking past the NFC Championship trophies and the Super Bowl appearances to evaluate what is actually happening on the field right now. They are questioning whether the Niners are truly the force of nature they once were, or if the cracks in the red and gold armor are beginning to show. In contrast, the Los Angeles Rams are playing some of the most aggressive, terrifying football of the Sean McVay era, assembling a defensive monster that has the potential to break the league. The debate is no longer about potential, it is about current production. And the results are shocking to those who refuse to let go of the past.
They will have a plan, but make no mistake about it. With Myles Garrett going to the Rams, that's a problem. He's a massive difference maker at a position that is a different.
Let's start in Southern California, where the Los Angeles Rams are playing a game of high-stakes franchise roulette. The sports complex wants you to believe that the Rams are the model of modern efficiency, a team that can transition from the legendary Aaron Donald era without missing a single beat. They want you to think Sean McVay is a wizard who can turn any roster into a Super Bowl contender. But look at the actual moves they made this offseason. They didn't just make a trade, they went absolutely nuclear, trading their first-round pick for Troy McDuffie, signing Jalen Watson, and then the biggest blockbuster of all, pulling off a trade for Myles Garrett. This isn't a team executing a patient rebuild. This is a front office screaming at the top of their lungs that they are in win-now mode, and they're willing to set their future on fire to do it. Some fans are calling it desperation. And honestly, they might be right. When you look at the sheer amount of draft capital they have surrendered, it is a massive gamble. But the impact on the field is undeniable. And Hasselbeck is absolutely right. Garrett is a generational force. A player who has spent his entire career in Cleveland, fighting double teams and still wrecking games. Now, he is on a roster with an elite offense that can actually play with a lead, giving him endless opportunities to pin his ears back and close out games. The media wants you to focus on the flashy names. But the reality is that the Rams have built a defensive monster designed to terrorize Matthew Stafford's rivals. Stafford snuffed out the doubters last year, proving that when he is healthy, he is still one of the most dangerous video game throwers in the entire league. He is still making the no-look passes, still processing at a Hall of Fame level. But he is also 38 years old, with a back that has been through a decade of absolute punishment. The Rams are living on the edge of a knife. If Stafford stays healthy, they are a Super Bowl favorite. If his back snaps, the entire franchise implodes into cap space hell.
Sure.
The Niners, I constantly oscillate between looking at this roster and thinking it's awesome, and then noticing that every guy named either is coming off an injury or is.
Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers are facing their own quiet crisis. The media still treats the Niners as the gold standard of the NFC, a machine that just plugs in players and churns out double-digit wins. They want you to believe Brock Purdy is a franchise savior, and Kyle Shanahan's offense is completely unstoppable. It is a brutal cycle of hope and anxiety. Christian McCaffrey has more mileage on his tires than a cross-country semi-truck. Deebo Samuel's physical style of play means he is constantly banged up and playing through pain. George Kittle is a warrior, but he is entering the phase of his career where the physical toll is starting to pile up. And Trent Williams, the anchor of that entire offensive line, is 37 years old. If you could guarantee that every single person on the Niners depth chart would stay healthy for 17 games, they would win this division by 3 games. But this is the NFL. And in the NFC West, health is a luxury no one can afford. The front office knows this, which is why they went out and drafted John Stribling and Ricky Pearsall, trying to inject some youth into a receiving core that is getting dangerously expensive and old. They even brought in Mike Evans and Christian Kirk in a wild attempt to maintain their offensive dominance. But the defensive front, which was once the most terrifying unit in football, was ravaged by injuries last year. They brought back Dre Greenlaw and added Nate Hobbs, but without a dominant, consistent pass rush opposite Nick Bosa. Brock Purdy is going to have to carry a much heavier load. And let's be honest, relying on Brock Purdy, backed by Mac Jones, to win a shootout in this division is a recipe for a nightmare.
For them, just, all season long, but certainly in their division.
Guys, just one time I want a coach to be like, you know what? I'm really worried. Like, I don't know what
Myles
we're going to do. Myles Garrett, apparently. Aaron Donald's coming back. Like, I am so scared. Nobody would ever do it, but it'd be really.
And that brings us to the Seattle Seahawks, a franchise that is currently experiencing a massive wave of offseason euphoria. The Pete Carroll era is officially over, and the Mike McDonald era has begun. The fan base is so hyped that you have callers going on national radio predicting a perfect 17-0 season. They think McDonald's defensive genius is going to instantly turn them into the '85 Bears. But this level of optimism is completely detached from the reality of their roster. The Seahawks were a bad running team last year, and they lost Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs in free agency. Now, they're putting all their hopes on a first-round rookie running back, Jadarian Price, to carry the load. Price is an incredibly talented player, a 3-down threat who has the size and speed to succeed in this league. But he is also a rookie who never averaged more than 10 touches a game at Notre Dame. Expecting him to step in and immediately carry an offense that is undergoing a complete coordinator change under Ryan Grubb is a massive ask. And who is under center? Sam Darnold. The media loves a redemption story. And Darnold had some good moments last year. But we are talking about a quarterback who won 6 games last year while posting a QBR of 40 or less. He is not a processor who can carry a team when the run game fails. And the offensive line? It has been a revolving door of injuries and poor execution. Now, they have to face a division where they have to go up against Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa twice a year. But while Mike McDonald is trying to play it cool, giving the media classic coach speak about not worrying about what other teams are doing, you know that deep down he shares those exact fears. How can you not? Seattle has some elite weapons in JSN and AJ Barner, But if Darnold is running for his life, none of it is going to matter.
To go about things.
It's purely logic. This is all logical, right? Like three of the best teams in the NFL, legitimately, in the Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers. The odds of you winning the division are minuscule. And if you were in a bad division,
then there are the Arizona Cardinals, a team that is currently playing the long game in a division that is way too rich for their blood. The media wants you to believe that every team in the NFL should be fighting for a wild card spot every single year. But the Cardinals front office is actually showing a level of pragmatism that is rare in this league. And Kelly is exactly correct. The odds of them winning the division are minuscule. So instead of lighting their cap space on fire to sign average free agents and chase an 8-win season, they are taking their medicine. It is better for them to have a take-your-medicine season than to muddle along and play their way out of a top draft pick. They are building through the draft, letting younger players like Chase Besantis get experience, and preparing for the future. They signed Tyler Allgeier to bolster the run game and are hoping to build a solid foundation around Kyler Murray. But they also know that if they struggle this year, they will be in a prime position to draft a franchise quarterback in a loaded draft class. It is a logical, cold-blooded strategy, but it also means that for the next 17 weeks, Cardinals fans are going to have to watch their team get absolutely bullied by the heavyweight contenders of their division.
4-0, home for the 49ers.
The reaction, Jay Harbaugh is going down to visit his dad. Yeah, little Harbaugh Bowl right there.
What do you got for me when the Niners pay a visit?
Those guys smell like Bengay. That's a win.
Well, then.
What makes this division race so delicious is the way the NFL scheduled it. The Rams and the Seahawks do not face each other until Christmas night. Think about that. Two of the most hyped, explosive teams in the NFC West. Both built on completely different philosophies. The Rams' nuclear veteran offense versus the Seahawks' young, aggressive defensive rebuild won't meet until Week 16. By the time Christmas night rolls around, the division will have been through a total gauntlet, and by the time that Christmas night matchup rolls around, those injury issues will have been exposed. And we will know if they truly smell like Bengay or if they can still compete. The Cardinals will have been mathematically eliminated. And we could be looking at a holiday war that decides the entire NFC playoff picture. The fan from Washington predicted the Seahawks would go into SoFi Stadium and sweep the division, claiming the Rams' acquisitions smell like desperation. But in this division, desperation is just another word for survival. In the NFC West, there are no easy wins, no safe leads, and no guaranteed titles. And this brings us to the ultimate question. Did the Los Angeles Rams commit franchise suicide by trading away their future for Myles Garrett? Or is the media completely right to crown them as the new kings of the NFC West? Are the San Francisco 49ers too old and injured to defend their crown? Or will Kyle Shanahan's genius pull off another miracle? And can Sam Darnold and Mike McDonald prove the doubters wrong and deliver a shocking playoff run to the Pacific Northwest? Run to the comments right now and let me know what you think. Because this division war has just begun.